Dumpster chat number 6.
Number 6, guys. It's always kind of awkward when the video starts.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what happened last week? Any special occurrences?
Last week, did anything happen? Not really.
I guess just some stuff at my work happened. They were not really eventful, but kind of interesting.
What happened? You didn't tell me.
Just we're building a new server infrastructure, but other than that, nothing really happened. And I went out to a meetup yesterday.
Told them.
So yesterday, I noticed I don't have a big friend circle. So I was trying to make some friends. Not really anything out there that I'm passionate about. And then there were like some people that I think it would have been a bit problematic starting any sort of friendship with them. Because they don't really fit the criteria that makes it optimal to be a friend.
What were they missing?
Well, I guess they were not really the type where I could hang out with them and don't have to worry about anything, kind of thing.
Like, what do you mean?
As in, like, it would have not been easygoing. There would always been some sort of kind of thoughts that would make me feel uncomfortable, kind of thing. As in, like, it's just not really, what's it called? Like, I can let myself go and be my true self, kind of thing.
Oh, like they wouldn't like support the way
they would only accept like to a certain degree and not all the way, all the weirdness that is me, kind of thing, you know? And then the thing is, of the few days that I have free time, I don't want to limit myself really, you know? I kind of want to at least be somewhat unhinged, kind of thing, you know?
He wants to be unhinged, guys.
Yeah. Yeah. I know, isn't that kind of what you expect from a friend?
No, I'm just teasing.
Yeah.
I am nuts.
Yeah.
You have to be.
Yeah.
What's the point?
Yeah, and that's what I mean. And it seemed all just so uptight. Like most of the people yesterday, it seemed uptight. And yeah, and I didn't really feel I have the freedom to really be myself, kind of thing. So yeah, anyway, that's my little recap. What about you?
Let me think about what happened. Oh, in the last week, one of my colleagues got fired.
Oh yeah.
So sad. So she's like 18 and your beard really is like kind of full, yeah?
Yeah, it's getting there. It's still
nice,
a little bit empty there, but
no,
it's
but guys,
better.
when I first met T, well, first of all, when I first met T, he never grew facial hair. As in, like, he would shave it off. He wouldn't keep it.
Really?
Yes.
I thought I was always shaving it like every 30 days.
No.
Oh, okay.
Every time I met you, you were clean shaved.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, for all of our dates. Maybe you were like getting all done up for me. Probably.
Yeah.
That was kind of sweet, babe.
Yeah.
He would.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so like he never had any like facial hair and stuff. And I don't know when we moved in together.
Yeah.
He like grew it out and really does it for me. I literally love it. I think you look so handsome with it.
Thanks.
It suits. And also it's kind of nice because you don't have to trim your beard every day.
Yeah, that's good.
But it's like so nice.
Yeah.
And like you get something to like, it's like this, you get to like cuddle it in a weird way. Kind of like keeps you warm. So it's really nice.
Like a face coat.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is probably... Actually, I heard that it actually also moisturizes your skin. So
yeah, because it retains moisture. Yeah.
So I guess that's good.
There you go.
Go hair.
If you have dry skin, grow out your beard.
Yeah.
No, yeah, so I got off track. Yeah, one of my coworkers got fired. She was 18, she's not dead. She is 18. And she like, how do you say? She was like kind of ratchet.
She's ratchet, yeah. Just say ratchet.
She's ratchet. But, you know, like, it wasn't like you hate her or anything. She was just kind of ratchet. And, like, that's the vibe you get when you meet her. That's, like, how she acts all the time. That's just her aesthetic. And, like, she moved out really young and, like, lives on her own. So she works full time. And, honestly, she's like a receptionist pretty much. And she's not the best, but she's also not the worst, and that's what counts. I don't know. I don't think she should have been fired, but that's just me. Sometimes I have issues with setting boundaries. So in circumstances such as these, it's harder for me to identify when is the right time.
Yeah.
Than it would be for like T if he wanted to fire someone. So for me, I don't think it was at that point where she should have been fired. But what happened was they took her to You're Gonna Die, the cafe near where we work. I'm like, first of all, why would you fire someone in public? That's just humiliating. Like, you know, like take her to the office or something, like your office. And his office is nice. Like, he could totally fire someone in there and they'll be comfortable, you know. And it's kind of discreet. But they go to a cafe, God. And then my boss, he's like to her, guys, the week before, no, like 2 days before this. So this week, Monday, she comes in, everything's fine. Tuesday, she comes in, she leaves. After she leaves, they find her job application open on the computer. She forgot to close it, which I'm like, what the hell? And then the next 2 days, Wednesday and Thursday, she doesn't come into work because she's sick. And Friday she comes in and they fire her. There were a lot of factors leading up to this. Like, she's kind of sloppy. She's like kind of all over the place, like a hot mess, you know? And for the amount of time that she's been here, she hasn't retained enough information. You know, it's like a bad investment.
She's becoming a liability.
Yeah, pretty much. Because at this point, initially you're like, okay, she's making mistakes because she doesn't know. And if, you know, with time, this turns into she's making mistakes because she's not learning. You know, so that's like two different things. And I think she's gone into the phase where it's because she's not learning enough information quickly enough to like match the level that she should be at. But yeah, I mean, sucks for her, I guess. So anyway, she's like kind of sloppy and like she's just bad at hiding stuff. Like, she's not clever enough to be subtle. Like, when she's honest to her own detriment, which in this day and age isn't going to fly in a workplace. You know, she's not PC, and that's an issue. Like, everything that comes to her mind comes out her mouth. You know, like, there's no degree of separation here. So all of these things put together, and the fact that she has to talk to customers with this kind of like no filter energy is just all in all a liability to the company.
Straight up.
Because she's people facing. So if she was somewhere in the back moving boxes, it wouldn't matter if she was ratchet, you know, but it matters if you're meeting customers and clients and stuff.
Yeah.
So my boss takes her to the cafe and says, oh, like, we found your job application as well. And like, he's like pretty much like starting to get into like why things are leading to where they're leading. And I think obviously before this, her last job she was fired from as well. And So I think she kind of could feel it coming at this point. I'm sure she's like heard it all before.
That's
the look of a man who's gonna fire me.
yeah.
And so in the middle of his like spiel, she's like, she gets back, she stands up, pushes her chair back, and she's like, "Are you done?" And he's quiet. He's quiet. Guys, he doesn't make a peep. And I'm like, what? Why are you quiet? I was telling T last night, I was like, if that was me, I'm like, I have my business and this person has been a fucking liability to me, and I'm trying to talk to them and they're like, "Are you done?" I'm like, "No, I'm not done. Sit your ass back down.
Yeah.
Buckle up. You know, we just started.
Yeah.
Get comfortable.
Yeah.
You know, like, I'm paying you for this conversation. Act like it. You know?" So she's like, "Are you done?" He's quiet, doesn't say anything. And then she's just like, "'Cause I am." And then, I'm not joking, storms out. And my coworker was standing at the front, and she just sees this girl who just got fired storming down the street. She was about to break into a run. Like, that's how fast she was walking. You know those speed walking competitions where they're like that? That was her. And
It's like, maybe I break my record.
yeah, so anything but running.
Yeah,
So she was like borderline running. And like 50 meters back, you see our boss walking. And like, she storms in, shoves past my coworker, like slams open the locker, grabs her bag, and just fucks off. Into the sunset, never to be seen or heard of again. She didn't say bye to anyone. But I think she thought, I mean, I'm confused because she thought we were all friends. And, but she didn't say bye. Maybe
she just felt embarrassed.
I think she was embarrassed for sure. And like the way she reacted, obviously there's no time to stand around and talk now.
Yeah.
After her little show at the cafe.
Yeah. Well, what can you do? I guess all she can really do is reflect on it and learn from it, because if she keeps behaving like this, she will just get into the same situation over and over again. That's just the way it is.
No, for real.
Anyway, so today we wanted to talk about why marriage is hard.
Yeah, so we were like, obviously we've told you guys like the past month, is it a month?
Kind of a month, yeah.
More than a month now, actually.
Almost more than a month, yeah.
So around a month now, we've been having like issues. I wouldn't, no, they're issues.
Challenges.
Challenges is a good word.
Yeah.
There's no real way to like, there's no real good word for it.
No.
But pretty much, yeah, it's been a challenging month for sure. In saying this, we've had our ups and downs.
Yes.
Consistently. And we always come out stronger every time. But yeah, like I thought that maybe we should talk about why marriage is so hard. It is fucking hard, you know.
Yes.
It's actually hard. It's hard. I'm shook, honey, because in movies, the hardest part is getting to the altar. But then once you leave, it's like...
That's when the real work starts, actually. Because usually, when you get married, you're usually in like this first year honeymoon phase.
You're so in love.
Yeah.
You're like, oh my God,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be with this person.
And I guess, yeah, it's definitely good to wait a decent amount. And luckily, we didn't do that.
It's a good thing we jumped into things.
Yeah. So, yeah, but...
But did we talked about like how we initially started dating and
Yes.
stuff. That's in our first video. What is it called? Who Are They?
Yes, that's right.
So cute.
Dumpster Chat's number 1.
Yeah, that was our first dumpster chat. So if you want the backstory, then I think you should watch that video.
Yes. So anyway, yeah, the thing is, why marriage is hard? It's hard because...
Wait, I don't want to jump right in. We need to give some context.
All right, let's give context.
So we obviously, when we met, we got married within, T proposed within like 6 months.
Yes.
of knowing me.
Yeah.
And I was like, yes. No hesitation.
Yeah.
I was like, yes. About time. What are you waiting for?
I was about to ask you.
Yeah, I was like, if he didn't ask me by the end of the week, it would have been me.
Yeah.
No, we got engaged within 6 months. I have to say, we've never had a break. You know how sometimes people have fights and then they go on a break?
But I don't believe in breaks at
I
all.
was just gonna say, what is that? Like, work on it.
Yeah.
You don't just pack your things, leave for a couple months and come back, you know?
Yeah, like what kind of relationship is that?
Yeah, every time the going gets tough, you guys head out. But when you have kids, you can't just head out and for a couple weeks and come back in, you know?
Yeah, that's right.
Like, anyway, so we obviously have had like our fair share of challenges, I would say. Which I think honestly would take a whole nother video. Like just to even the tip of the iceberg.
That's right.
But yeah, in saying that, we wanted to kind of talk about how it's been for us. I don't know if it's different for people who waited. I know people wait like 6-7 years sometimes, or 2 or 3. But you know, like, I don't know if it's different for everybody else if you guys go through this before you get married. But this is just like us personally.
For some people, it's also they wait 7 years and then get married, and then they get divorced within 1 year.
Yeah, I will never understand why that happens.
Yeah, it's just whatever happens, you know. I guess
do think the marriage changes the dynamic of your relationship.
it does change it because it really it gives it some sort of finality, you know.
Oh my god, I was just gonna say, it feels final as fuck.
Yeah, it is.
And it is. It is final.
No, it is. You really, and I guess, you know, you probably never really realize what you're sign up for until you're in it, you know? Because sometimes it's too hard to imagine, or impossible to imagine unless you're doing it, you know?
And the thing is, it's hard to imagine
yeah.
Because you don't know who it's going to be with.
Well, I hope you know who it's going to be with.
No, as in as in when you're just dating.
Yeah, like, because the person you see a new side on them.
Yeah.
That's right, yeah.
Like when you actually, like, even being engaged, it still feels like he's my boyfriend.
Yeah.
Like when we were engaged, I used to always by accident say boyfriend instead of fiance because it just feels the same.
It kind of feels the same.
It doesn't hold the same weight. You just have a ring now, but you can give that back and everything's done.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, like there's no paperwork.
That's right. No divorce lawyer or anything like that.
Yeah.
I don't even understand why would anybody get a divorce lawyer, you know? Like just
But babe, what if it's hostile? If it doesn't end well, you kind of need one to mediate.
Yeah, then I guess, that's also true.
And I think a lot of them do end bitter.
Yeah, but then it's not about the money. You just want to get back at the other person for breaking your heart, really.
Yeah,
you know?
no, exactly.
And that's why I'm saying, like, how can someone be like that when they're heartbroken, you know? Like, what do you gain from that? Nothing, really. In that sort of battle, everyone loses kind of thing, you know? Hashtag Johnny Depp.
Oh, bless him.
Yeah.
He's really been through it.
Yeah. But I mean, both of them, you know? Both of their careers are ruined. First it was this one,
hers is like, she's obviously, people are absolutely bashing her.
Yeah.
Which is horrible. I mean, it's ugly. This kind of stuff, the thing is, it shouldn't be public.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be public. Why should I know what's happening in their marriage? It's just not right.
Yeah, but I guess from some angles, any promotion is good promotion, you know?
Hey.
Yeah.
You know, but what about prenups? Do you believe in prenups? What's your opinion on that?
For me, it doesn't make a difference, you know, because if I need to have a prenup, then I'm really not good at judging people, you know. And then if you sign a prenup, then what other way is there to tell someone you don't trust them, you know?
Yeah, it kind of starts it off with a sour taste, I have to say. Yeah,
I mean, for me, even, you know, if I lose all my money in divorce, whatever, man, I can earn it back, you know. Like I don't really care. It's just money, you know. What I really want is I want to be happy, and if someone else needs my money, I just declare myself bankrupt, and then good luck in trying to get something, you know. You know what I mean? But it's for me, I don't care, you know? I know what I got myself into. And if I want to have a prenup that basically says, hey, I'm not sure if I actually want to stay married, you know?
Yeah, I'm not sure if this is going to actually work.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, I'm obviously not the main earner in this relationship, so it's kind of a different view for me. I genuinely don't care because I have nothing to give.
Yeah.
T would be so disappointed.
Yeah. So I don't want any money, you know?
Yeah,
Because-
but that's the thing, like, I mean, if T really wanted to, obviously, I would do it because I don't think we're ever going to need it anyway.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it kind of makes me feel weird. Kind of makes me feel like, oh, like he thinks that I'm gonna run off with his money or something.
Yeah. And even if you have a prenup, you know, then there's still clauses how you can get over it. And then this whole process and paying the lawyers, trying to find loopholes in this prenup, you know, it's just gonna cost so much money anyway. So what was the point in it anyway, you know?
No, totally. But yeah, back to why marriage is hard. I don't know. What do you think is the hardest thing about it?
Put it in the comments.
Put it in the comment section. Only people that watch our videos is me and T.
Yeah. All right. So then I guess we also made like a little list of what we think.
Yeah, because there are so many branches to this tree.
Yeah. So I guess what should we talk about?
I think
can-
we should go with you can't.
Yeah, you can't hide your
Yeah,
flaws.
I think that's a good one.
And it also takes work to overcome them.
So I think a really big thing that I also didn't understand going into nobody fucking really tells you. I wish there was a handbook.
Yes.
You know, would be nice to know what I'm signing up
Like
for.
a realistic expectation, not a fucking Hollywood
not a
distorted
fucking-
dream story.
Yeah. Oh my god, movies. I have to say I like chick flicks.
Yeah.
And they all end the same. They got married and lived happily ever. What?
Like we
That's when all the drama starts.
we actually watched a chick flick the other day, and I could tell you before it happened what would happen next because it's just so predictable.
He's the worst person to watch chick flicks with.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
such a hater. He's like, yeah, babe, and then watch, he's gonna propose. I'm like, duh. That's the whole point of the movie.
Yeah, he was proposing though.
And it was perfect. I cried.
Yeah, but it's always the same.
I love it.
It's the same playbook every
He
time.
acts like he didn't do chick flick things. We could have our own chick flick movie. I'm not kidding.
Yeah, but everything was kind of perfect until we got married. so yeah, we could have our chick flick thing, but that's not what we need right now.
Yeah, we just wouldn't show. We would stop at after they got married.
Yeah. Anyway, so
Our epilogue would be so fucked.
yeah, it wouldn't be that fucked to be honest.
We have really good moments.
Yeah.
We're not. It's not like a horror marriage, guys.
No. No, it's not one of those memes where we are going in a demolished car, where it says 7 years and still going, and then you see a picture of like a demolished car and them going, you know.
Yeah, it does. I have to say, sometimes it feels like that.
Yeah.
Like when we have our ugliest moments,
Yes.
it feels like I'm that meme times 10.
Yeah.
I have just the steering wheel, you know.
Yeah. But then we get over it.
Anyway, sorry. So I think like I feel everybody has their ego. Everybody has their own, everyone has shame, you know, like that's the thing. You have shame, you have guilt, you have your ego. And you know, these are things that are going to stand in your way when it comes to being open. Because I'm just going to say it right here, you can't hide anything in a marriage. No. It's not possible.
It's true, yeah.
Especially not with me. No, but you just can't. You can't hide even your past, you know what I mean? Like,
true that.
You just, when someone lives with you, you just kind of become this really... I notice the smallest differences in the water, you know what I mean? I really can feel when something's under it.
Yeah.
And for me, like T, when I look at him, it's his eyes and like the skin around his eyes. I'm telling you, it's like a movie. You know what I mean? Like that's, you can just see everything, you know? That's where he carries everything.
Yeah, you as well though. Sometimes you get really, I don't want to say depressed, but like really...
Yeah, I get like mellow.
Mellow,
you
yeah.
say mellow.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I'm depressed.
Yeah.
Like...
But just unwilling to engage in any sort of conversation, or just really, I don't know,
like,
signing out kind of thing.
Yeah, I sign out. It's true. Like when... But that's... Yeah, when I'm like... what is the word? Like drained?
Yeah, I guess drained, yeah. But also, to me, it sometimes feels like something from the past is kind of...
Yeah.
Like you get reminded of something that happened in the past kind of thing, you know?
And it kind of drags you
down.
down.
Yeah. Makes you feel a bit, you know, low or whatever.
Yeah. No, oh my God. And that's what I'm saying. You can't hide it.
Yes.
Like, it's like, okay, so T doesn't know why I feel this way, but he can see that I'm feeling this way.
Yeah.
You know, like that emotion you can't hide.
Yeah.
And like it happens more often than you think. Because when you're dating, at the end of the date you go home.
That's right.
Or like you have a sleepover, but then you eventually you go home. You know.
I think you also don't really can see it because you have like rose-colored glasses on, you know? Like you kind of overlook things more as like when you're actually know someone for like a longer period of time kind of thing.
And I also think when you're dating, when I go on a date,
yeah,
it distracts me from everything else.
Yeah.
So I don't even have time to really think about other things.
Yeah, you only spend like a fun time together, not really the everyday nitty-gritty kind of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And like when you get married and you live together, day in, first person I see when I wake up is T. When I go to bed, last person I see is T. Last person I talk to, first person I talk to. You know what I mean? Like every little thing. I'm not kidding. He knows my poop cycle.
Yeah.
Like...
Clockwork.
Like, it is like clockwork. It's quite impressive, you know. I have a really good bowel movement system going on. Very consistent. No, but like stuff like that, it's just like, you can't hide it.
That's it.
Everything comes out. And eventually, like, at first, you don't really know how to read that person, but with time... it's like so easy. You know, like I can see it when T's mood changes, T can see it when mine changes. It's just you have like these really small tells, and over time you just become really good at picking them up.
Yeah. And I guess now that we talked about recognizing flaws, then it also takes effort to actually work on certain flaws. Because I know I certainly have some flaws that definitely affect the happiness in our marriage and the happiness of my wife. So I only have the choice to either work on them or give up my marriage, really. Yeah. And I decided to work on them. And trust me, it's not easy because these are things that I done for like the majority of my life, you know? And now basically reinventing the cycles in my brain that have been so developed is an undertaking that really takes, you really have to give it your all. If you don't give it your all, you will fail. That's really the point where I'm at with this, you know? And it's only worth it in my opinion, if it's the right person, and I'm sure my wife is the right person, you know? That's why I wanna work on this, you know? But trust me, it's not easy on me, and it's especially not easy on my wife because she has to go through the motions way more than I have. And yeah, if you can work on those kind of things before you get into this sort of relationship. For me, it was clear that I definitely want to keep my wife, so I had to find a way. And I think the way that we're in is not the prettiest, but I think it's the only way
Yeah.
to keep this marriage, you know, and that's why we just have to deal with it.
I think for us, the way through it was going head on.
Yeah.
Straight into the thick of it.
Yeah, right.
Which was probably one of the more difficult moments in our marriage, I would say.
Yeah. That's right.
And like, I have a lot of issues. I hate talking about stuff like this.
No, it's fine. We can talk.
I have a lot of issues like from my past that affect my marriage, I guess.
I would say your self-esteem.
I would say my self-esteem. There are a lot of things here to unpack.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like my self-esteem, and that affects your marriage.
Yes.
Like, and also stuff like, even like how I react to things is different than a person who grew up in like a healthy, normal
I would say that, yeah.
household would react.
Yeah, I think it gives you like a warped perception because like this big bundle of negativity that can be stored in your body, it kind of pulls something that doesn't really create any attention in like an average person. It creates like a big deal of attention on anxiety kind of thing.
No, literally even talking about it is making it harder for me to breathe. I'm not kidding.
Yeah, so...
Like, stuff like that makes me really... Like, I'm, because of things that happen to me, I'm really anxious about things, and I get scared really, really easily. Like, it's not very hard to scare me. T never really tries to scare me because I don't actually think it's fun scaring me, because I get really scared.
She get really almost terrified, you know?
Yeah.
And you really have to watch it not to overdo it kind of thing.
Yeah. I will die.
Yeah.
I always say, I know how I'm gonna die. One of my grandkids is gonna come up to me and be like, boo bitch, it's over. You know what I mean? I'm gonna get a stroke or something, or a heart attack and just die. I will die in shock, for sure. And like, I get like, like one of my biggest things, I get scared really easily. Which I know doesn't sound like a big deal, but you would be surprised. By
it just kind of, I guess,
how many things
it kind of puts like a limit on the things that you can do in a way, you know. And I think that's where the life quality gets diminished. You know?
Like you have to suddenly be aware of that. You know what I mean?
That's right.
And it's not fun. Obviously, if I could control it and switch it off, obviously I would. No one wants to be scared. It's not a fun feeling, being terrified. But like, it's something that I chose not to work on, you know? And now that I'm married, it's like not fair to T that I'm like bringing my baggage. Not that baggage is bad, guys. Everyone has baggage.
It's not only about me, you know, it's also at some point we want to have children, and they deserve to have the best version of ourselves, you know.
It's true. Like, we made the executive decision to... T's not happy about it, but I mainly pushed to wait until we figured some of our things out, because I know for a fact my issues will resurface in our kids.
Yeah, that's usually when, I think as soon as you have kids, a lot of your emotional trauma resurfaces.
100%, because you see it in them. You know?
That's it.
And a lot of like your trauma happened during your childhood. Well, at least in our case. And I just know that's going to be really, really ugly. Yeah,
so better get it fixed now, and then yours better later.
Yeah. Another thing, I get anxious, and not like in a normal way where it's like, oh, that makes like a normal person might get anxious before a test. I get anxious like just for fun, like just for no reason. I'll be sitting there and suddenly I can't breathe.
Yeah, you get like a panic attack almost.
Yeah. Or like even sometimes like there's just this state of being, I have to say, where you can't take full breaths.
Yeah.
Like physically the air is going in, and I'm sure if you got me tested, everything's fine, but it feels like you can't breathe, which is a really weird sensation.
Yeah.
It feels like I'm doing like shallow breaths all the time.
Yeah.
And I've been like this I've had times where it's stretched out for months, where I felt like just this shallow breathing for months. And let me tell you, it's fucking exhausting. Every single day you have to wake up and be like, I feel like a piece of shit because I can't take a full breath in.
Yeah, it must be depressing, yeah.
Yeah, and like it's really sad. Like now it doesn't happen as much. I haven't had that in a while, to be honest. But it's a thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like sometimes T and I will be hanging out and I can't breathe. Just fun. Just because, you know.
Yeah.
Like that's stressful.
Well, I guess now we can also talk about, you know, I guess more like a general thing, and that is, I guess before you get married, you need to be sure it's the right person, you know, because I guess like we said before, once marriage shouldn't be treated as something, oh yeah, you know, I can just bail out if it doesn't work kind of thing, you know. I don't think that's
The thing is, if you go in with that mindset, it's never really gonna work
I think you don't give it the respect that it deserves, you know. I mean, yes, for some people marriage is just like you go to a festival, you know, it's an experience. No, but it's true, you know. They just want to have the wedding and the flowers and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But then after like 2-3 years, they're like, nah. I wanna hook up with Fernando from the Tiki Bar, you know. That's at least the average woman nowadays. To me,
That's
you know.
not nice.
Okay, I take that back.
Thank you.
But that was feels like.
At least you took it back, guys.
Yeah.
No, I remember when I first met T, he didn't really like believe in marriage. Like, not in the sense that he didn't think it was a real concept, just that he didn't want it for himself.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
He used to tell me that, like, we don't need to get married because, like, we can just have the same lives without the title.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
And to me, I was like, that's crazy. I was like, that's never gonna work with me. Like, I have a lot of, like, hard limits. And for sure that was one of them. I wouldn't say, like, I'm very good at setting boundaries, but there are some things where I'm like, I can't, you know? And for me, like, marriage was one of those things. I think I don't know how to explain. I don't know if this is kind of anti-feminist, but, like, I think it's just different for a girl, you know? Like, okay, for example, let's say we have kids. I am now a mother of 2 children, let's say, hypothetically.
Yeah.
And we're not married, we're in a de facto relationship. And T's a father. Let's say we break up. Who is it going to be harder on? The single mom or T? Like,
yeah, I would say the single mom, yeah.
For sure. And now I have this stigma, which means already finding a new relationship, oh my God, so difficult when you have kids. Versus me, if I was a single girl and T was a single dad, I honestly would be okay, I think. Because I love kids. And I think women in general are more open to men who have kids already.
I think so, yeah.
And it's kind of an attractive feature. You know, oh, he can be a good dad. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He takes responsibility.
Yeah, that kind of thing. But for a woman, it's like, oh, it's stigmatized. You know, she's a single mom. Like,
I must say, I wouldn't date a single mom. No.
Yeah, there you go. And like, that's what I was telling T.
Unless I have kids on my own, then maybe.
No, but that's different.
Yeah.
But like, that's what I'm saying is like, what now?
Yeah.
You're gonna move on, live your life, and I'm gonna be in this position where it's hard for me to really have anything.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, have like a relationship again.
That's right, yeah.
And I was like, as a woman, like, I want to feel that security. That, like, I was like, if you really want to be with me, I want to see that you really want to be with me, you know? Like, if marriage, like, maybe it doesn't mean a lot to you, but I think as a woman, you kind of need that security of, like, okay.
Yeah, it's talk in that relationship, talk in that sense is easy, but actually doing the part, I must say that is something that really takes, you really have to give it your all, otherwise you're gonna fail.
What, marriage?
Yeah, no, I mean, like, you know, you can always talk about that you can, yeah, I'll do the thing, I'll be there. But actually then being there when it counts, that's the hard part, you know, and most of the time you only see that when it actually happens, you know. So that's why it's harder than to just say you're gonna be that kind of thing, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, are we talking about marriage?
You know, you were talking about
how, like, women need that security.
yeah, that's right.
Oh, yes. Yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah.
You want someone who's, like, reliable
Yeah.
and, like, who, when he says he's going to be there, is going to be there.
That's right.
You know, like, it's, like, there are so many factors. In saying that, I don't think that was the reason why T married me. I don't think he married me just because, you know, unless you did.
I married you because I thought you really loving and funny.
There you go, ladies.
And attractive on top of that.
Being funny pays.
Yeah, it does. I mean, attractive is one thing, but attractiveness fades, you know? What are you gonna do when the beauty is not there anymore, you know? So then you're really screwed because you're literally with someone you find unattractive and has nothing else to offer.
Yeah, 100%.
You know? Then that would suck. Then you literally have, I don't know how many years, but probably quite a lot where you literally just hate being in this relationship. Whereas when someone is funny and you vibing and you kind of can complete each other's sentences, it's way more rewarding.
It's just such a vibe.
Yeah.
And you know, like, from the get-go, I kind of always understood what T meant. And I noticed, like, sometimes when we're out and about, people just don't get it.
Yeah.
People don't get it. But I always got T. Like, right from the beginning when he said something, I'm like, yeah, I get where that's coming from. I understand what he means.
Yeah, I think for me it's especially challenging because I think I can be socially awkward. And a lot of people don't get me when I do corny jokes or something. Then, so I'm grateful that I found someone that is kind of on the same wavelength kind of thing.
It's true.
Yeah.
And, like, in saying that, like, I really think the right person is what makes the difference. Like, if it's not the right person, putting in all this effort is not worth it.
It's a waste of time.
Yeah.
So yeah, because
like,
yeah.
Sorry.
I just wanted to talk about the next point.
Because, like, I was gonna say, because you invest a lot in these people.
That's right.
Like, time,
resources,
emotional energy.
Yeah, not only your emotional energy, also emotional energy of the people around you, and like people getting to know that person, maybe liking that person, you know. And then they have to, now everything is awkward and they have to stop talking to them and that kind of thing, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe imagine you would have like a friend circle and I would become friends with some of those people. What's gonna happen to those relationships, you know? That then also they have to pick a side kind of thing, you know?
Fuck, man. I always think that's so worrying. To be honest, I kind of am so happy that we're not in the same friend circles.
Yeah.
It's nicer that way.
Yeah, but you know, and then what about work relationship, you know? What if you work in like a similar industry and you have to deal with each other, you know, because your company, they have business together, you know? This sort of stuff, you know? And it's everything is just becoming really
But also,
awkward.
like, when you get married, you start buying things together.
Yes, that's also true.
That would kill me. Because I have a lot of knickknacks.
Yeah, and then also the memories that you
associate with those things. Yeah.
You literally, that will be terrible, you know?
Yeah, like, even like material things, like furniture and like our sofa, what are we gonna do?
Yeah, what are we gonna do? Guess we just put it on the street, honestly.
Literally.
Yeah.
I don't want to carry that memory around.
Yeah.
You know, like, fuck. That would suck, man.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying is like you have to find the right people. You have to you have to like be sure. Before I met T, I knew I would get married someday, but I never ever got that feeling from anyone. I was never with someone and thought, I want to marry this person.
Yeah, same.
Ever.
Same.
You know?
Same with me. Like, I must also say I never really thought about marriage in any of my relationships. But I knew with this is my wife, you know. I gonna wife that one up. Yeah, and I guess what we can talk about now is what kind of helps us, like, making it work, kind of thing.
Yeah. A lot of compromise.
Compromises.
Oh, compromise is the word.
Yeah. And also being able to negotiate a compromise. Yeah, because, I mean...
It's a negotiation. It actually is.
It is to some degree, you know? Like, you have to kind of make your claim, and then the other one gives you, like, a counter offer, I would say. Mm-hmm. You know, and then
you meet in the middle.
Somewhere in the middle, yeah.
I have to say, a lot of the times, you don't meet in the middle.
Yeah.
Sometimes I win.
Yeah.
And sometimes I win.
Yeah, and sometimes it's a little bit where I can get something.
Yeah. But you know, I
get like the crumbs.
And he's happy with them.
You sound like Klaus Schwab.
But you know, I think people like make jokes about that, but I actually do think that's how it happens.
Yeah, it's trust me, sometimes it's just draining, you know. Yeah. You don't. Sometimes you just want to.
It's not draining for me. I love it.
For me, it is.
She's like, I want to end this conversation.
Yeah. No. Sometimes I just want to. I don't know. Have something. You know. Like, I don't know. I want to have a night for myself, for example. You know. Just because I'm an introvert, I just want to recharge my social batteries, and it's like, what you doing?
Because I want to do something.
You know. You're like, what you doing there? You know, she comes in the room and be like, oh, what you up to?
I'm like, what are you watching?
Yeah.
Do you want to watch it together?
Yeah.
And then he's like, Star Trek. I'm like, no, let's watch something else.
Yeah.
And then he's like, you came into my moment.
Yeah.
And want to pick what to watch now.
Yeah.
But you're the one who's asking me to watch.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yes. And usually he gives in.
No.
Yes.
No.
Like tonight.
No. I'm not gonna give in.
I mean...
Also important, stand your ground.
Stand your ground. For me, stand on his ground.
Yeah.
I mean, I think like... For me, it's picking and choosing my battles. When I really want something, I'm not letting go. You know what I mean? And I think vice versa. I think, it balances out for us because we both really care about different things.
Yes.
So when it's like finance related, I don't really care. So usually T will win this battle.
Yeah.
You know, but when it's like home related, like, should we get this sofa set or...
Yeah, I don't really care either.
He doesn't really care.
No.
Like, sometimes he'll give like a small opinion, but I can usually veto it because it's my couch.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
So in that sense, you're both going to value different things, and for us, we play different roles.
That's right.
So it really helps to kind of balance out who vetoes what.
Yeah.
Based just on like what you do.
And also, what's your strength, kind of thing, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
money
I guess
is not my strength.
Yeah, I guess you have to also know yourself well enough to know what is your strengths and own it, you know. Yeah. Also, what are your weaknesses, and also own your weaknesses. I think that's also a very important thing. And then the other thing is, when you agree on something, just stick to what you agree on, you know. Don't do some sort of behind the back tactics and just, I don't know, try to circumvent or remove yourself from the responsibility of the promise that you gave, you know. If you're not happy with something that you agreed on, renegotiate, you know, or do something else.
We've done that. Sometimes you make an agreement in the moment and later on you realize, actually, I don't think I can do this.
Yeah.
Or I don't think this is the right fit for me.
That's right.
That's when you have to come in and be like, hey, actually, I feel differently now. And you kind of have to renegotiate.
That's right. So yeah, communication is key, in my opinion.
Oh my God. If you don't openly communicate, your marriage is going to burn down in flames.
Straight up. And everybody's going to watch.
Everyone's going to watch and they're probably going to talk about it.
Yeah. And you're like, I always knew they didn't fit.
Yeah, they're just always so rude to each other. Yeah. You know, like, but that's a communication error.
I think some people would also, they would feed on it, you know, some
step.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and she's like, oh, look at them, pathetic.
Yeah.
Not that this matters what other people think, you know.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah,
it doesn't.
But I'm just putting it out there.
No, I even actually talking about this and making this video is draining, because it's like you have to kind of go through all of these things, and there are a lot of components. Yeah, to like what makes a marriage hard. Yes. Lots of moving pieces.
And I think nobody really wants to hear it, you know, because you're like, oh, you know, I just want to have fun. But, you know, life is, most of the time, it's actually not fun, because most of the time you have to figure out how to find your way in this chaotic mess in a way, you know.
And, you know, another thing is like when you live with someone, you have to be aware of their mood. Yeah. Like you're not always going to be on the same page. No. And for T and I, that's a really big thing. Yeah. We're not usually on the same page, like mood-wise. No. Like I think I'm always ready to go out and do something, and T always wants to kind of have his own space.
Yeah, because I think my work is quite draining because, like I said, I'm an introvert, and sometimes I'm sitting in a lot of meetings and I have to talk and explain, and it really takes a lot of patience also sometimes. Because sometimes people in my work, they're not as bright as I hope they would be. They just don't get certain things, how things work. And if it's the same thing over and over again, it's really draining for me.
I believe that, yeah.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, anyway, I think you still have to put in the effort anyway, you know? Because when you have a kid, what are you going to do when the kid comes around, you know? Yeah. So then you cannot just shove it aside and be like... Anyway... Go on your tablet.
Shove it aside and be like, Mommy and Daddy are taking a break. Yeah. So you're all fend for yourselves, all right? Yeah. And I think before getting married, having the ugly conversations, you know.
That's right.
Knowing what you're like signing up for, so to say. You know?
Literally, you really have to ask the question: what does your fucked up side look like, and what do you do for it to not become a problem, kind of thing?
No, I'm not kidding. I really agree with that. Yeah. Because it will come out. Yeah. And when it does, you're gonna be shook, honey.
You're gonna be shook, and it can really.
And they're gonna be shook too.
Yeah.
You're both gonna be fucking surprised.
It's gonna test you. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. Like even like stuff like, I know someone, for example, who got married and didn't ask questions like, do you want kids? Or like...
Oh, that would suck.
Yeah, fundamental things. Didn't really like mentioned it, but didn't, you know what I mean? Didn't have a proper, let's sit down and discuss what's happening here.
Yeah, that's right.
You know?
That's right.
And they got a divorce on their honeymoon, which is so heartbreaking.
That's heartbreaking, yeah.
That's so sad. And like just to realize on your honeymoon that, oh my God, like this is not the person that I want to be with.
Yeah, nobody wants to be in that situation. No.
Yeah, and at this point you've had your honeymoon, so they had their wedding and people came, everybody, you know? And the fact that now you have to be like, okay,
this is it.
Yeah, but I think honestly you have to be really brave to be like, okay, on my honeymoon I've decided, you know.
I know, and obviously now it's good because now it's basically as soon as they break up, the next day is going to be the first day of their life that is more appropriate for them. But why does it has to?
Yeah, why did it have to get to that point?
Why? Yeah, you know.
Should have had that conversation.
Exactly.
And her biggest takeaway was, please have these conversations
That's right.
before you get married.
That's right.
I don't know when the right time is. Maybe after he proposes.
I think even I would even say the 4th date. You know. No, seriously.
I mean, we had this literally on our first date.
Yeah, I don't wanted to make these kind of mistakes. You know. And I mean, it still didn't prevent me from discovering new sides of me and how I actually have to handle a serious relationship kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I guess I didn't fall into that trap, I guess. So I guess it's just a new challenge, you know? So challenges will never stop. They will come around.
That's the thing.
Yeah, you know?
I think one thing to note before we end the video is there's never not going to be something.
Yes, that's right.
There's always going to be something.
That's right.
You know, like,
that's right.
I don't know how else to say it. There's always going to be something where you're like, oh, if only we didn't have that right now. If only we didn't.
There's always going to be something, and in those moments, it's so important that you have the person that you can actually work through those constructively, you know?
Yeah.
Because if one of the parties can't handle it, then it's doomed, you know?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, you have to, when these moments come, and they will come, you have to make sure that the person you're with is someone you can rely on.
That's
to,
right.
like, get through that time.
That's right.
And I think an important thing is, like, not playing the blame game.
Yeah.
You did this.
Yeah.
It's your fault. I think the thing should be, okay, take accountability for what happened, apologize, and then work together towards how you can improve it.
That's right.
You know, and I feel for us that's been the best method.
Yes.
And I think, like, for the people who feel wronged, I get that.
Show it in your actions that you want to work on it, kind of thing.
Yeah, I think, like, if you feel wronged, you have to make that choice. Can I get over this?
Yeah.
Can I move past this?
Yeah.
And, like, forgive this person for eating my chocolate or something. You know what I mean? Like, but that's the thing. That's how it feels, is like, can I move past this? And if I can't, should you be in this relationship?
That's right.
Because this person, he is what he is, or she is who she is, you know? And there's nothing you can do about that. Yeah, they can make steps to change, but once something's done and it's, like, upset you, you have to be like, okay, can I get over this? Is this a big enough deal for me?
Yeah.
To be like, I'm gonna head out.
Yeah.
You know, stuff like that. It's so important, because my thing is, if I feel like I wouldn't be able to get over something, I would leave, because at that point there's nothing to salvage.
Straight up.
You know, because that means you're never going to grow from this point.
That's right.
If you hold on to something.
Relationships are about growth. That's also one thing.
Yeah. And, like, if you can't grow from a certain point, then, and you're just going to remain stagnant, probably not the best relationship to be in.
No, that's right.
But who are we?
That's right. We just share so you can draw your own conclusion on your life.
Please don't take our advice as the word of God.
Straight up. Use it as an example of what some people go through and what they do to overcome it.
Yeah, this is just our experience, and, like, take it at your own discretion.
Exactly. Anyway, I think that's a wrap. Alrighty. Then.
Alrighty, guys. I think you've sucked enough life out of us today. Laters.